started with controversy is ending with
No,
controversy.
Mikey, no, Mikey, that was so not right.
Here comes Lewis Hamilton though, down the back straight. He's got a slipstream. He almost touches Verstappen. They almost make contact into turn 9. Verstappen stays ahead of Lewis Hamilton.
In motorsport, Red Bull and Mercedes have been the dominant forces for the last 12 years. On the final race of the 2021 season, Max Verstappen of Red Bull Racing took the checkered flag to stop Mercedes winning their 8th consecutive F1 Drivers' Championship, 8 years since they last won the trophy for the 4th consecutive season themselves in 2013. Outside of motorsport, Red Bull owns and operates a transatlantic football club and youth development network, with teams based in Leipzig, Salzburg, Bragantino and New York, all enjoying varying degrees of success. Looking for an opportunity to bounce back and beat Red Bull at their own game, Mercedes-Benz decide to form a club network of their own, right in Red Bull's respective footballing backyards in Germany, Austria, Brazil and the US, in a long-term bid to prove that anything Red Bull can do, Mercedes can do better. Starting in the 5th tier of German football, we have Mercedes-Benz Stuttgart. In the Austrian 2nd tier, we have Mercedes-Benz Vienna. Replacing FC Cincinnati in MLS, we have Mercedes-Benz Atlanta. And finally, in the Brazilian 2nd tier, we have Mercedes-Benz Sao Paulo. These are the Silver Arrows. Hi, welcome to part 1 of the Silver Arrows. My name's Daz. In this first part, we're just going to go through a quick kind of breakdown of what I've done for each of the teams, so you can know how they look, how they're set up, etc. Because we've started in July, the MLS and Brazilian seasons will be already underway. We'll kind of review that later on. Just want to say Hood Gaming's video on creating custom clubs has been an absolute godsend in putting this all together. I've put a link in the description as well. If you ever want to try something like this, definitely worth watching that first. So having a quick look, searching through the teams. First off, have a quick look at Stuttgart. As they're in the 5th tier, I'd say they've got quite a bit of work to do before they even think about approaching Leipzig's level. They've got Typhoon Korkut as a manager. Looking at his history, doesn't seem all that promising, but this will be an entertaining one to see how it goes. So in the 5th tier, so Oberliga Baden-Württemberg, only the league champions will get promoted, which isn't great. We are 1-91 to win the league, despite only having made one signing who's a loan player. So this will be an interesting one. I don't think those odds are going to hold up. I wouldn't put any money on it personally if I had the chance. You'll see we've got the affiliated clubs listed. So again, similar to what Red Bull have, we've got the full network all there and ready to go. Next up, we'll have a look at Mercedes-Benz Vienna. Big signing for a manager with Bruno Labbadia coming over from Hertha Berlin. Long-term plans would rather not be a manager of Hamburg, so let's see if he'll stay in Vienna for a good while anyway. As they're only going to be in the 2nd tier in Austria, again, not going to be quite as long a wait. Hopefully to play against Salzburg. Winning the first game is very good, and again 1-91 to win, which is nice. Every single test Neven Subotic signed for Vienna, so again that's only been a couple of transfers in so far. Again, kind of headlined by Subotic, I would say. But yeah, Vienna very much the favourites to win here. Next, we've got Mercedes-Benz Atlanta. Because I have just done a like-for-like replacement for FC Cincinnati, Atlanta already have a fully established squad. So again, they're in the Eastern Conference. Currently bottom of the table. Again, fairly new expansion team is kind of to be expected. Phil Neville's already been sacked for Inter Miami. So yeah, bottom of the conference, but again, that'll develop with time. Again, with the network the size of Mercedes behind them, I can imagine that they'll probably come good fairly quickly. But again, this is essentially just a quick switch for Mercedes here. And Brenner, the star signing up the top. Love the incredibly named Beckham Sunderland. No idea if it'll turn good, but only one way to find out. Got a few injuries already. Prospects being looked at by other clubs. So again, we'll see how Mercedes-Benz Atlanta shapes up by the end of the season. Again, we're already kind of a decent portion of the way through. Again, we'll cover that towards the end. And then finally, we've got Mercedes-Benz Sao Paulo, currently dead last in the second tier in Brazil, have made barely any signings, only 5, and they aren't particularly valuable players, let's put it that way. Moving on to the league table, again, dead last, haven't won a game, 1 draw from 19, minus 62 goal difference. So again, we're strongly expecting Mercedes-Benz Sao Paulo to go down to the 3rd tier. And yeah, 600 to 1 to win the entire thing, I don't think is entirely possible at the minute. But again, count this as a finding their feet year and then work their way down from there. Now that we've had a quick look at all of the clubs, let's go on holiday for a little bit and then come back to see how everyone's done at the end of their first season. And we're back. It's the end of the season in Brazil and the US, so let's have a look and see how the teams got on. As you might expect from the preview at the start, Sao Paulo had an absolute howler of a season. At least they did eventually bring in quite a number of transfers, but again, spending £1,500 over the entire season's transfer windows probably gets the level of returns from the investment that you put in. Going by the league table, yeah, as you'd expect, didn't win a single game. 6 draws, 32 losses with a minus 90 goal difference. Truly incredible. So yeah, as expected at the start, Sao Paulo will go down to Serie C in Brazil. Next up, let's have a look at Mercedes-Benz Atlanta. Again, not a huge amount of change with regards to transfers, but star player Brenner's looked at by a number of clubs. We've got quite a few players being wanted by other teams. So again, at least they've made some level of impression. Looking at the schedule, they made it to the quarterfinals of the US Open Cup. Did lose their first game against New York Red Bulls in a 3-0 away loss. So again, not a huge surprise there. In the return leg at home, 1-1 draw. Could be worse. They did finish 8th in the Eastern Conference, so just outside the playoffs, given that they were dead last when we first started. So again, could be worse, just outside the playoff place. In the Supporter Shield table, so again, roughly mid-table, decent enough spot. Moving on to the Mls Cup Final, the Red Bulls did win it in a 1-0 win against the Colorado Rapids. So again, Red Bulls do have the upper hand here. Again, we'll see how long it takes for Merck to catch up. Next up, let's see how Stuttgart got on. And funnily enough, Tayfun Korkut did get sacked during the January transfer window. The Mercedes Atlanta did take on Andries Jonker as a new manager as well. Bernd Schuster ended up taking over in the 5th tier for Mercedes-Benz Stuttgart. So again, hopefully it will bring in a bit more stability. Team has favoured personnel already. A player on loan from Magdeburg. 8 goals in 34 appearances as a right back, so not too bad at all. And then looking at the final league table, you see they finished 11th. So again, not quite the 1 to 91 odds that they were going to have on winning the entire thing, but again, decent enough finish for the team's first season, having to bring in a whole new squad from scratch. Again, with only the league champion, again, promotion to the 4th tier. There's probably still going to be a bit more work to do for them. But again, we'll see how they get on. And then finally, looking at Mercedes-Benz Vienna, Bruno Labbadia listed as favoured personnel already, so it probably tells you everything you need to know in advance. Looking at the squad, brought in Junior Ademu from Red Bull Salzburg. And then looking at the main event, league table for the 2nd tier in Austria, Mercedes-Benz Vienna, league champions, get an automatic promotion to the Bundesliga, setting up the first meeting between Salzburg and Vienna in season 2. 18 wins from 30 games is not too shabby at all. And looking at the award winners, Jörg Teigl, the right back at Vienna, won Player of the Year. Lovely honours for their first season. No one in the top 3 for top scorers, but again, if they're winning the league without that, then it's not too shabby. going a bit more depth into the transfers, you'll see compared to the £1,500 that Sao Paulo spent, 12 million spent in Vienna. So again, it certainly seems to have done the trick. See quite a few free transfers. Austria, Vienna getting very much raided in January and then over the summer. Quite a few free transfers, and then a couple of RB Salzburg lads coming in as well. They made it to the semi-final of the Austrian Cup. So again, for the second tier, not too bad at all. So they did lose and then win against Leipzig, the feeder team for Salzburg. So again, it's not quite a head-to-head meeting, but there we go. Could definitely be worse. Looking at the head-to-heads, Sao Paulo again, dead last, the second tier in Brazil. So again, they're going to be quite some way off getting anywhere near Bragantino, who finished 5th in their season. They haven't played yet. Neither team's won the league. So again, this one might stay the same for a while. Next up, Atlanta finishing 8th in the conference. Red Bulls finishing 4th, but did go on to win the MLS Cup. In the 2 meetings that the teams have had, they've both drawn, and Red Bulls have won a game as well. So again, records in Red Bulls' favour at the minute. Again, we'll see how that proceeds in the next couple of seasons. Stuttgart aren't even close to getting near Leipzig's level, sitting mid-table in the 5th tier. And then finally, Vienna won the league in the 2nd tier. Salzburg won in the Bundesliga. They've yet to play, but with 1 league win apiece, it will be shaping up for season 2 to look quite nice indeed. So that wraps things up for part 1. Thanks very much for watching, and part 2 will be coming very soon. Cheers.